On today's Live Daily News, a murder trial is underway in the Concho Valley, an update on that injured humanitarian from San Angelo in Ukraine, and what's the deal with the former Angelo community baby buttons. Plus, find out what the San Angelo Performing Arts Center has going on this summer. All this and more. I'm Yantis Green, and this is Live. But before we get to the news, situated downtown near the Concho River, the recently remodeled Suburban Suites provides an upscale, convenient location for your next business trip. Going to need a long-term stay? Look no further than the Suburban Suites. There you'll find completely renovated suites that make you feel like home. Plus, it's the only hotel just steps away from the McNeese Convention Center. For business or pleasure, choose the upgraded Suburban Suites. And now, on to the news. We start the show today with news coming out of McCulloch County in Brady. Starting today, a jury will decide if 42-year-old Michael Tarr murdered 40-year-old Jason Cumby in August of 2021. Tarr was accused of shooting and killing Cumby. Mugshots, though, show obvious swelling and bruises to the side of Tarr's head. Regardless, Cumby was shot in the street and died from his gunshot wounds. Jury selection began in Brady today. Tarr is expected to plea this afternoon, with court proceedings continuing in the morning. Look for updates on this story as that trial progresses throughout the week. And the biggest story locally has to do with baby buttons and social media rumors. That's right, babies born at the former Angelo Community Hospital were given a baby belly button. For several years, thousands of buttons have been collected and placed around the hospital courtyard. Shannon has decided to remove the buttons as the hospital is transitioning away from that tradition. Despite what you see on social media, though, Shannon has a plan to reunite the buttons with the babies or their families. Shannon officials will release more information, an update on that soon. Also, speaking of updates, the humanitarian who was seriously injured by an IED while clearing a minefield in Ukraine is on his way to recovery. We told you last week that Michael Monty Montoya was injured while clearing farmlands in Ukraine. Monty lost his foot, but fortunately he is still ready to get back after it. Let's hear from Monty himself.
I just want to tell everyone I'm doing good. Being taken care of, and just from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everyone out there. So good spirits. It is what it is, and it's a horrible cliche, but I'm not done. So I'll get this little stumble in the road taken care of, and get back out here and keep helping everyone who's going to need it. Okay, so thank you, love you all. Bye-bye.
In crashes today, the Texas Department of Public Safety is investigating a fatal crash outside of Comanche over the weekend. According to the DPS, a Ford pickup was behind a Nissan SUV headed east on U.S. Highway 87. The pickup attempted to pass the Nissan and cross the center line into the path of a Toyota Prius. The Nissan pulled right, and the pickup crashed into the Prius's side. 3 motorcycles that were heading west tried to avoid the crash, but a Harley Street Glide was struck by the pickup's side mirror. A Harley Softail went right and hit the Nissan, and a Yamaha motorcycle couldn't avoid the Nissan and Harley crash and crashed into them head-on. The driver of the Nissan, 78-year-old Jimmy Crossan, and the driver of the Yamaha motorcycle, 32-year-old Stephen Stewart, were pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of that Ford pickup that started the chain events left the scene and is now a fugitive. If you have information on that, call the Texas DPS right now. And for weather this week, be ready because hot is all it's going to be. All week long, highs will be above 100 degrees. Today it got up to 103, but just wait. Thursday and Friday of this week, it's expected to have high temperatures around 108 degrees. With heat like that, this can be extremely dangerous to leave dogs or children in cars for long periods of time, and look for possible watches and warnings toward the end of the week. We'll keep apprised of that. Finally, this weekend in San Angelo was one for some good baseball, whether it's the Wall Hawks or the Angelo State Rams. Both showed how good baseball can be in the Concho Valley. James Bellini has more on this in a second, but first, here is a message from Jim Bass Ford.
We know you're looking for a truck. And of course, you're looking for a great deal. We've got the trucks and we've got the deals. Get a brand new 2023 Ford F-150 STX 4x4, just $475 per month. Right now, you can choose from several different colors, and you can only find these at Jim Bass Ford, Houston Hart at Arden Road, or 24/7 at jimbassford.com.
The Wall Hawks and the Angelo State Rams seasons came to two different ends. First off, the Hawks made it to the state tournament and played London in the semifinals. After crushing them 5-1 to face the Boyd Yellow Jackets in the state finals, the Hawks dug themselves into a deep hole by going down 6-0 into the sixth. The Hawks tried the rally, but came up short 6-4. Wall had a fantastic season making it to the state finals, and head coach Jason Schneer's last season as their head coach. On a lighter note, the Hawks did not have any seniors on that team, so we could see the Hawks make a few more deep runs over the coming years. While the Hawks got beat, the Angelo State Rams did not, and claimed their first ever NCAA Division II national championship. The Rams won 6-2 over the Rollins Tars, as the Rams finished their season with a 56-9 overall record, a 7-game win streak, and a national championship trophy. For everything sports in and around the Concho Valley, tune in to San Angelo Live/sports.
Cleaning has never been more essential, and our health has never been more precious. Yet with rising costs, we are having to make hard choices when it comes to buying essentials. Carpet Tech wants to help you maintain a clean and healthy home and afford other essentials like fuel and groceries. So we're giving away a $250 prepaid gift card every week. Anyone who books any Carpet Tech cleaning appointment is entered to win. Even in this economy, we hope an extra $250 will make a difference.
Well, welcome back. I'm Joe Hyde with San Angelo Live, and today I'm joined with the head of our San Angelo Performing Arts Center, Yukio Kuniyuki. Did I get that right?
You did.
All right.
It's great to be here.
Good. Yukio is, if you don't know this, Yukio is, like me, he's retired military. You were like a tank guy, right? You drove around in tanks?
Started off as a tank guy, then I became a military intelligence guy.
Military intelligence.
Yes.
That's like an oxymoron.
It is. It is an oxymoron, but it's the best oxymoron to be part of in the military.
So that's what brought you to San Angelo was Goodfellow, obviously.
Yes, I was the Army commander on Goodfellow.
So you retired from the military, and then next thing you know, you're running a performing arts center. How does being a tank guy and counting SAMs in the Soviet Union, or the former Soviet Union, equate to running a performing arts center?
Well, in the military, you're used to conducting large-scale operations, and that's really what the Performing Arts Center is you're doing major events on a continual basis. You're doing near-term planning, mid-term planning, long-term planning, continuous operations.
So everything's kind of like a tasking order.
Pretty much. And we have a short staff, and sometimes in the military you would deal with short-staffed situations.
Do more with less.
Exactly. Do more with less. And that's kind of how I got into it. And when I was here, I really got involved initially through B Theater. Our kids were in one of the summer programs.
Mm-hmm. So B Theater is a nonprofit group of volunteers. I'm volunteers, but they're performers. They're local, and they put on shows every summer.
Right. So within SAPAC, B Theater is one of the resident companies that occupies space within the Stevens Performing Arts Center. The other organization is Ballet San Angelo. So back then, when I think it was 2016, our kids were enrolled in one of the youth classes. And later I joined the 24-hour theater because as a busy person, sometimes all you have is like 24 hours to devote to a project. And that was a really great way to get involved.
Okay, so you get involved in B Theater, which is actually blown up and become a really good addition to our community because it gives people the chance to be creative. At the same time, they put on some really good shows.
Right, they do, and they have the new season starting up this summer with their annual melodrama, and it's back. I think they took a quick break over COVID for obvious reasons, and then they had one last year, which was really funny, and then now they've got a new one coming up, and actually auditions are tonight.
Okay, so if you run down there and you're good at acting, maybe you could jump in there?
Yep. So the melodrama tonight, auditions tonight, and then the performance will be later on the third week in July.
What do you do when you watch them do the auditions? What do you have to read a script?
They'll do script for the auditions. They'll do a reading just to evaluate the actors' talents and how they would fit into different roles. Because melodrama really requires a lot of comedy. So you have to have a great personality and stage presence to be really good in that.
So they're
production.
looking for stage presence.
Yes.
Okay, so I won't go.
What are you talking about, Joe? You'd be perfect. You could be the villain.
Ooh, why is it I'm always the bad guy? What's up with that?
I don't know.
Anyway, the San Angelo Performing Arts Center, if you're not familiar with it, was really, it coalesced back in 2014 when they got a number of big multi-million-dollar gifts. They built, first of all, the Brooks and Bates Theater with the box theater next to it.
Well, they organized in 2012, and then the fundraising really kicked off in 2014. And then in 2016, they turned the old Coca-Cola factory into the Stevens Performing Arts Center, which
Right.
contains the Black Box, the Brooks and Bates Theater, and then 7 ballet studios. And then the following year, they renovated the Old City Auditorium into the Murphy Performance Hall.
And it's, people don't really, a lot of people that are not from San Angelo are not familiar to understand that the old Murphy, the new Murphy Theater is part of the old theater. It's part of it's actually part of the City Hall.
Right, and what the renovation included was creating an extension backstage because we didn't have one before.
Mm-hmm.
And when they built the extension, they added 2 loading docks, so now we can bring in Broadway productions. Major artists, musical artists can come in and download the equipment straight onto the stage, whereas before, the old door was on the back of City Hall, and it was very problematic for shows to load in.
Right, because it was built back in 1923 or something, whenever City Hall was built.
I think 29 was the year.
Yeah, man, you're up on it, man.
It's like I spent 2 years in the job, and it's been just absorbing all the information.
Okay, so one of the benefits of having these three basically three big stages and for the Performing Arts Center, other than they kind of form a little campus back there, but also you're able to bring in our kids, with the Ballet San Angelo,
right,
and with the Broadway Academy. And we have Broadway Academy is doing something coming up. It's Cinderella.
Right. So they have Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella coming up at the end of this month. It's part of their the first summer camp program.
And this is the San Angelo Broadway Academy.
Yes, San Angelo Broadway Academy. Will be about 100 kids performing on stage. It'll be a great production. And in July they'll have Finding Nemo Jr., which will be another great musical production.
So when they say kids don't have anything to do and we need more splash pads, they need to tell them to join the San Angelo Broadway Academy or the ballet. And the ballet does Nutcracker every year.
Right, and so over the summer, the ballet has some workshops going on.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be one performance, I think it's in July. And then in October, they have their Sharing Dance Week, which culminates in Sharing Dance Day on, I think it's October 20th this year. 21st this year. And then the ballet will be in the second week of December for Nutcracker.
All right, so the kids are taken care of. And meanwhile, we still have these stages that we need to fill with things to do. We have the B Theater, of course. That's going to be in the Black Box, which is kind of like a smaller stage.
Right. It seats 100 people. It's more intimate. So they'll have the melodrama there. They have a Cabaret series, which is music in the Black Box. Mm-hmm. And then they also have their popular Bad Improv, which is B After Dark Improv, which is a monthly event, starting, I think, back up in either July or August.
In addition to the kids and the B Theater, you also rent the facility out. So we have a couple of big shows coming from promoters.
We do. So like the first one is 1 July. A lot of people are tracking this one because it's a pretty big, popular star. Zach Williams, he's an enormous Christian country act, mm-hmm. and he'll be there on the 1st of July. And in 2 2 weeks later, on the 15th of July, we'll have the Liverpool Legends, which is the best Beatles tribute band in the universe.
You know, in the tribute band world, I book tribute bands myself, but they're like tribute bands that come out of Chicago or New York. They're very expensive.
They are, and so I think Liverpool Legends, they have their own stage in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And so they'll go on tours to different locations and take their performance to those spaces.
So these aren't just like DFW or Austin tribute bands. This is a national act.
It is, they are certified by Louisa Harrison as the best handpicked Beatles tribute band anywhere in the United States.
Okay. So Beatles tribute band is, say the date again?
15 July.
15 July. So we've got a big concert on the 1st of July and the 15th of July. What about, like, one of the things that they did when they first opened the Performing Arts Center was the Performing Arts Center had to prove its mettle, I guess. So they booked their own stuff.
We still book our own stuff.
So what do you got? What have you booked this year?
Well,
you don't have to book as much.
We're at the end of the season right now. So our last big show was Madagascar the musical. The next show that we have on the calendar is John Waite, of the lead singer of the Babies and Bad English from the 70s and 80s. So if you love glam rock and rock and roll, he's coming on 26 August. He'll be our first official show of the season, but we haven't announced the rest of the season yet. We're going to wait until midsummer to announce the rest of the season.
So midsummer. Well, you can buy season tickets, right?
Yes.
And what's the budget? What do I need a budget for season?
Well, so it depends. I think we're going to focus.
I want to sit in the front seat. I want the VIP front seat. How much? What's my budget for doing that?
Let's say if we have, I think we're shrinking our season down to 6 to 8 shows. So if you're $70 front row, about $500.
About $500 per seat.
Right.
You ought to do like Cowboys. You ought to sell the seat and then have to buy the season tickets every year to keep the seat. You think they could let you do that?
I think we're keeping it simple for right now because we are still one of the youngest nonprofits in San Angelo, and we're also one of the youngest theaters in the state of Texas. We were founded. Well, we established ourselves in 2016. That was our first half season, and then so we've only had 4 full seasons since then. So we're in the great landscape of Texas. We're striving to be the next Tobin Center or the Miller Outdoor Auditorium, but right now we're still figuring out what's right for this wonderful city of ours and community.
And you got the pulse on how it's doing. How do you think the SAPAC is doing? Because it's important for this used to be like, you think of 1890s San Angelo. It was like bars and brothels and stuff like that. It was a rough town. And so what the arts do is they calm the town a little bit, calm the community. It has a calming effect. Or civilization, civilizes the community. Are you with me?
Yeah. No. I'm completely with you. It adds a certain enrichment to the whole community because it brings in international and national tours. So we get exposed to other forms of art, other cultures, and in many ways, SAPAC right now is the only nonprofit performing arts center of our size in our region of West Texas. The next closest one is over on the I-35 corridor. So we're seated in a special place here in the Concho Valley, and our influence extends all the way down to Del Rio, north to Abilene, east to like Brady, and then even down to Fredericksburg. People have come in from all those spaces. In fact, we had people travel from Houston to see some shows and buy tickets to John Waite's show coming up. Wow! So we're getting some traction right now.
Using notoriety from out of town, trying to pull people in.
We are.
And as they say in the tourism business, put heads in beds.
Heads in beds. And what we're trying to do too is, help establish San Angelo as a live performance location in West Texas.
I think it makes sense because we have the university. We have a very large arts programs at the university right now, which is good. And then if we have the San Angelo Performing Arts Center there that has those facilities available, there's a lot of things we can do, cross-pollination and things like that. Plus, we have a really nice museum. I mean, I don't think they have that nice of a museum, and even in Houston, sometimes you think, well, Houston's going to get all the big money, but still, It's on that level. I think a big metro type museum.
I think so, and we also have like wonderful school programs. Like in SAISD, the band and orchestra and choir groups, we make space available to those throughout the year.
And it's amazing that San Angelo has orchestra programs in its high schools. I mean, that really is. When you think about, they're not that big. They're not big six. It's not Central's not a big 6A. It's a small 6A.
Right.
When you have, I grew up in Katy. We didn't have an orchestra program. Back then we were rapidly growing. Back then 6A was 5A, right? Rapidly growing 5A. We didn't. There was nothing like that on the horizon. And I came here. I'm like, man, the whole small 6A has an orchestra program. So it's plus they can go on to ASU and study music.
Exactly, and there's actually a young man who just graduated Central, #1 in the state on the stand-up bass, and he's played with the symphony.
Stand-up bass is the boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's played with the symphony here.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. So the symphony actually gets the kids to participate.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, Zukio, I really appreciate you coming on to talk about SAPAC, and lots of shows. You can go to, what's the website?
SanAngeloPAC.org, or you can call 325-284-3825, or swing by our box office at 82 Gillis Street, Tuesday through Friday, 10 till 5:30.
So you can go by and yell at the city about the tax rate, and then cruise over to the side of it where your offices are.
Yes, you can buy some tickets to wonderful shows.
Or get a permit to build something new in your house. You're right next to the permit
Exactly,
office.
we're next to the permit office. You can go to the Grind, which is not too far away, get some coffee.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Come back
the day.
around and get a grant from the Entrepreneur Center to start a business.
Yeah, you could visit the SBDC, which is right on the corner as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that SAPAC has done right there in that area. I mean, it's really revitalized that part of downtown. So
Yeah, we're part of the downtown San Angelo, San Angelo Chamber of Commerce. We're helping. We like to believe we're part of the art economy here in this great city, and we're helping San Angelo be that music-friendly city, and also the visual arts capital of Texas.
there you go. Yukio, thank you for coming on, and SAPAC at SanAngeloPAC.org.
Yep, thanks, Joe.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
When it comes to unique pieces you can't find anywhere else, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is your one-stop shop. With over 24 years in the diamond and coin industry, Kano's Diamonds and Coins is West Texas's choice for diamonds, jewelry, coins, silver, and gold. Owner Bill Kano stands by his work and offers free consultations, including estate jewelry. Don't just trust anyone with your valuables. Come see the staff at Kano's at 1016 West Beauregard in San Angelo.
And that's it for news, weather, and sports. We'll have more tomorrow for you right here on San Angelo Live. Until then, for the San Angelo Live crew, I'm Yantis Green.